To all members. Am I supposed to say that?
No.
The clerk will designate the amendment.
Amendment to the amendment in the nature of a substitute to H.R. 8706 is offered by Mr. Frost of Florida.
Without objection, the amendment is considered as read. I reserve a point of order. The gentleman from Florida is recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And, before I talk about my amendment, just want to be clear, my amendment is going to focus specifically on veterans serving in the federal government from the harms of this bill, but I oppose the impact of the underlying bill, the impacts that the underlying bill will have on every single employee in the federal government. Today, veterans make up more than 30% of the workforce, according to OPM. That's over 636,000 people who have served their country in uniform and continue to do it as civilians. H.R. 8706 would completely overturn 150 years of precedent for supporting our veterans. The government has a long-standing, careful, considered procedures for orderly reductions in force dating back to 1944 with the enactment of the Veterans Preference Act. These procedures are codified and implemented through OPM regulations, building on a principle established far back as the Civil War that veterans who have sacrificed for this country should be given preference in federal hiring and retention. The law requires that any reduction in force from the government that we retain, quote, equally qualified, end quote, veterans over others. Under this misguided bill, a qualified veteran could immediately be fired for simply working in a diversity, equity, and inclusion office, regardless of their combat service, disability status, or their decades of exemplary performance, or their proven value to the agency. You can just imagine a veteran who served in combat, became disabled, worked 30 years in the federal service, spent the final few weeks, final few months, final few years working in a DEI office. Under this bill, that veteran would be immediately terminated without any opportunity to demonstrate their value to the agency. I urge my colleagues to support this amendment to ensure reductions in force comply with the law, respect veterans' preference, and uphold the principles of good governance.
Gentleman yields back. Chair recognizes Mr. Cloud.
Thank you, and I certainly appreciate the gentleman's intent in this. Both sides of the aisle certainly respect those who've served in uniform. I'm proud to represent a district that has, it's a place people flock to because of how our community supports veterans. I have a concern about this and would love to work with you on it, but my concerns are of a technical nature in us getting at this at the last minute to understand the potential unintended consequences. Very specifically, I could speak to the provision that says Code of Federal Regulations. We do not have the time in the moment to go through the entire Code of Regulations related to this and see what is there, not to mention that could change tomorrow without Congress doing anything. So we certainly want to protect veterans. I do not think that this would negate the longstanding status quo we have toward veterans. But at the moment, I think we'd have to object to this until we could work that out. But I'd certainly be happy to work with you on making sure that we get the intent of what you're doing before this goes to the floor.
Gentleman yields back. Any other members seek recognition? Seeing none. The question is on the amendment offered by Mr. Frost from Florida. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed signify by saying no. No. In the opinion of the chair, the noes have it. The amendment is not agreed to.
I request a recorded vote.